I have compiled a list of the things you should not say to somebody that's struggling with infertility. These are all things that people have said to me. Number one, you're young, you have time. Thank you for telling me my age. I'm well aware of how old I am, and I don't want time. I want a baby. Thank you. You can always adopt. Telling someone that they could adopt doesn't change the feelings of being infertile. One of the most difficult parts about infertility is trying to understand why your body doesn't work how it's supposed to work. It's beyond frustrating to know that you're doing all of the things and you're still not getting the outcome that tons of people get every day. Also, you don't really have to state obvious things. Everyone knows adoption exists. You don't have to tell somebody that they could just adopt. Number 3, there's always IVF. Guess what? Since you've never been through this, you probably might not even know that IVF doesn't always work. You also probably don't know that some insurances don't cover IVF, and couples have huge out-of-pocket expenses sometimes that come along with IVF. Not to mention all of the other stuff that women have to do to their body before they can go through IVF. Injections and all that kind of stuff. Some people go through multiple rounds of IUI and IUF and still never get a baby, even after paying tons of money and putting their body through all of that. So no, there's not always IVF. Number 4, another one of my favorites, everything happens for a reason. Please take a moment to think of the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and then let somebody tell you that everything happens for a reason. For me, it's when my brother died at 27 years old. If everyone ever tells me that it happened for a reason, I'll smack them in the face. You just don't say that to someone that's going through something difficult, I'm sorry. And finally, it's only been a year. Some people struggle for 10 years. So me and my husband have been trying for a little over a year now, and while I get that there's people that have been trying longer, and I really feel for those people that have been trying for 10 years, I cannot even imagine. That doesn't mean it hasn't been hard for me for the last year. The amount of tears I've cried, the amount of physical pain I've been in, it still happened. And just because it happens for other people and it happens worse for other people doesn't make my feelings any less valid. Now, there are some things you can say that aren't insensitive to somebody that in your life that's struggling with this. You could just be compassionate and say, I'm sorry you're going through this. When they're having a bad day, like a bad doctor's appointment or something, you could say, do you want to do something to get your mind off of it? Or that you could just straight up ask if there's anything you could do to support them. How can I support you through this? I know it's really hard sometimes to put yourself in somebody's shoes, but you should try. And for my infertility girlies that need to vent, put it in the comments the worst things people have said to you while you're struggling with infertility.